For example, whether the police department population is white 10,000 or 9, and there's a dispute about that. Well, Daley said he's going to raise the population, he's going to hire 600 police, which he hasn't done it yet. And then now they're talking about we're going to move 1,000 policemen from behind desk out into the street, which we recommended 6 months ago. It hasn't happened yet. But of the police budget, and it's very close to $1 billion a year, 85% goes into salary. 85% of the Chicago Police Department budget goes into salary. Now, if 5/6 of the department are white, 5/6 times 85% times $1 billion tells you the income that the white community is making in the police department, in the criminal justice system, when the black community is only making 1/6. Conversely, 90% of the crime of the victims going through it are black. So you can see the economical impact that it has on the lack of it has on the community. I've said all along that if black people were, the numbers were compatible, that is the participants in the justice system who are part of the solution, that is the judges and the prosecutors and the lawyers and the public defenders and the clerks and have you, was compatible to the numbers of persons who are the victims and the defendants, the criminal impact wouldn't be nearly detrimental on the black community as it now is. The reason it's so detrimental is because not only do we have a black defendant and a black person getting killed, but the persons who are prosecuting them through the system, or people who are making money off the system by salary, are basically white.
So, I mean, all that to say that there is inequality built into the system.
Of course that's true.
Yeah.
Of course that's true. And it's even worse with the fire department. It's even worse. It's even worse with what's the name of the people the paramedics.
Yeah.
It's worse with the paramedics. It's even worse. I think there are 150 paramedics, and I think of that number something less than 15 are black. And paramedics was an institution that was created because white firemen did not want to go in the black community to answer emergency calls. And it was created to give black people jobs in the ghetto. And when it developed that it was a good position, a good job, whites took it over. Now, for me to constantly talk about this, people say often, Judge Pincham is always talking about race. I'm going to stop talking about race when it stopped existing. It was an old alderman used to say, Claude Holman used to, I asked him once, why are you always looking in the closet for ghosts? You're always suspicious. You're always paranoid. Anybody said good morning, you're looking to see why they said it. He said, Pincham, I'm going to stop looking in the closet for ghosts and I'll stop finding ghosts in the closet. I'm going to stop talking about racism when racism no longer exists. And as long as it exists, I'm going to talk about it.
You know, our Constitution was set up, you know, we're supposed to run our states and legislature by laws. You know, the laws that the Constitution, you know, was written in the Constitution. What I'm getting is that it's not run by laws, but it's run by men, and a few men who have the majority of the power.
Well, the concepts of democratic government are good concepts.
Right, those are the laws.
Yes,
but the people
the
who
problem
are in power
are the persons who execute the laws.
Okay. Okay. Now, I understand that next year there'll be a different way of which we could elect our judges. Okay, could one of you elaborate on that?
Well, by state legislative action, the city of Chicago has been broken down into districts. I'm not quite familiar with the number of districts. 15 separate districts in which the city of Chicago, now we're not talking about, well, I guess Cook County is involved in that too, but the county is broken down into 15 separate divisions, and each district is going to be able to elect a certain number of judges from each district, and they will be circuit court judges, but they will run just in the district rather than running countywide as I ran and as the justice ran when he became a judge of the circuit court of Cook County. but they will have the same powers as I have, except that when they stand for retention, they will only be running in the district that elected them. The theory behind this concept was that blacks and minorities would have a better opportunity to increase their numbers to a number commensurate with their percentage in the total population by breaking the city down into districts.
No, what do you think about that? How do you feel that that will work? I mean, do you have a good feeling about it, or
Well,
old system good enough? Or
if it's going to take a few moments to explain it,
okay,
if you don't mind.
go ahead.
The Democratic Party in Cook County, because it has had the ability to control the selection candidates process, ultimately controls the election process. If you can't get on the ballot, you can't get elected. And the Democratic Party was choosing, and because it's the dominant political party in Cook County, was selecting and choosing the judicial candidates on the ballot. It limited its choice to those persons it wanted to be elected, which enabled it to discriminate against women, against Hispanics, against blacks, against Poles, against Jews and other groups. As a result of that, because anyone can see that if you have 450, 475 judges and only 30, 35 are black, and we are at least 1/3 of the population of the county, that kind of disparity is racist. A lawsuit was filed in the United States District Court by a former appellate court judge named Craven, alleging that the process of selecting and electing judges in Cook County violated the one-man, one-vote principle under the Voting Rights Act. The case was assigned to Judge John Grady in the United States District Court. In the meantime, the black legislators in Springfield were coalescing with the Republican legislators to pass this judicial districting bill, so that if you divide the county up into districts, the blacks would not have to go to the Democratic Party to get selected on the ticket. They could run for the district in which they live. And if they were known in the district, they could be elected. That coalition of blacks and Republicans in the legislature passed a bill providing for the districting of Cook County for judicial election. The bill was passed in the morning of X date. The afternoon of the same date, and the reason the legislature passed the bill, once the coalition became apparent, the Democrats, joined in the coalition and passed the statute that morning, under the threat that Judge Grady was going to do it anyway in the district if they didn't do it. It develops that within 4 hours after the legislature passed the districting bill, Judge Grady dismissed the lawsuit. And I say to you, had they known that, they wouldn't have signed it. But what is significant about it is, at the time of the federal case before Judge Grady, the Attorney General of the state of Illinois was Neil Hartigan. Neil Hartigan went before the legislature and got almost a $500,000 additional appropriation for his office to finance going before Judge Grady to contest the case in which we were trying to get black judges. Subsequent to the case being dismissed, the validity, the constitutional validity of the judicial districting bill went before the Illinois Supreme Court. Some persons contending that it was unconstitutional. At this point in time, Hartigan is now running for governor, and he wants the black vote. So when the Illinois Supreme Court declares the judicial districting bill unconstitutional, Hartigan then makes a big fanfare and goes and hires a black lawyer saying, I'm for the judicial districting bill, to have the lawyer to go before the Supreme Court to have it to withdraw its opinion saying it was unconstitutional and urging it to be constitutional. The court did declare it was unconstitutional, in spite of that, but the legislature redid it. It's just